Hey everybody, I love smoking meat and I love barbecue, but I realize not everybody has access to a smoker to do that. So today I'm putting together this fantastic oven barbecued rack of ribs that everyone's gonna love. So let's get started. I've got a nice full rack of spare ribs here that I could just season up, throw into the oven and cook as is, but they're going to cook a little more evenly if I trim them down a bit into what they call St. Louis style ribs. And you can buy them pre-trimmed, but this is generally a bit more economical, and I'm not going to throw the pieces that I trim out. I'm going to cook them right alongside of these ribs so there's no waste. So you can save yourself a little money if you learn to trim your own spare ribs. Now, I'll flip them over so I can get a little better look at what I'm dealing with here. And here, of course, are the bones. And I can feel the ends of the bones up here, and that's pretty much where I want to make my cuts. So, I'm going to first take off this belly piece here, which is actually a very good piece of meat, and I'm going to cook it alongside the ribs, so no worries. And it really, there's a very defined line here. Just cut that up to the top. And that is a pretty hefty and pretty good piece of meat. Just that marbling, that tired look. I like that. It's like a big old boneless rib. Okay, so now I'm going to take off this meat that's just kind of floating here. If that was a brisket, they'd be calling that a deckle. Get down to where I can just right down to the ribs there. It's pretty nice. I'm going to take off this little bitty baby rib down on the end because that generally just burns. There's not really any meat on that sucker either. Hey! Alright, and now it's pretty much there, but I want to pull off this silver skin, this white membrane here. It's coming a little bit loose here already, you can see. But if it weren't, I'd work my knife under there just a little bit. And then we get a little piece of paper towel or cloth so I can get a good grip on that, something dry. I flip that over so I can work that, and then you just want to get a hold of that guy, work it loose, and it'll generally come off of there pretty easily once you get it started. Hello. There we go. Look at that. All the way down. Oh, yeah. Now we're looking real good. You feel around up here to where the bones end. There's a little bit of that cartilage bits right in here that I'm going to take out. Just a tiny bit. You can see them. These white cartilage bits that I don't mind eating, actually. Some people do. And now, flip that back over. I've got a little loose piece of meat here, and I'll take it off. It's alright. And now we've got a nice rack of St. Louis style ribs. It's time I revealed to the world my top secret spice blend. And this is a blend that I'll use on almost any meat that I'm going to smoke or I'm going to grill. A lot of times I'll add spices or herbs on top of this, but this is very frequently going to be the base flavor. And it all begins with some seasoned salt. Use whatever kind you like. I like this one because I like the taste, and it's available almost everywhere. So, the first thing I'm going to do is take my brand new bottle of seasoned salt and my empty bottle of my own spice blend and pour half of the seasoned salt into the empty jar. More or less. You don't have to be that precise. Then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of some red pepper. Cayenne is usually good, but I happen to like this one, but this one is blazing hot, and it'll really make you reconsider some of your choices in life. But I happen to love it. So, I'll add a 1/4 cup of that right into that seasoned salt. And then, I'll use garlic powder and add about a 1/4 cup of that as well. Woo-wee! And that's it. Now, I'll leave enough space in there so I can shake this around. Cap on. And just shake that up for a little bit to get a nice, even blend. And that's it. Now, I'll just take my top secret blend and season these guys. The meat is actually pretty thin on here, so I don't want to go super, super heavy. Just pat that in a little bit. They used to call this rubbing or seasoning. Now it's called dry brining. And I'll also want to add a little bit of black pepper to that on top of my blend. We'll flip them over and do the same. Pat that in. Looks good. Smells good. I like to do this the night before to give that seasoning a little time to work into the meat. It's going to cook a really long time, so it's not super critical to do, but if you have the time, I really do think it pays off to do this even just a few hours in advance. Let's cook some ribs, and I'm going to keep this as close as I can to the way I do them in the smoker, with of course some minor differences such as the lack of smoke. But I've got a nice sheet pan here. I'm going to put down a little bit of oil, spread that all around, and let's bring in those ribs that we've had seasoned up overnight, and I'm going to work a little bit of olive oil into those as well. Just rub it right in there. If you think of any other spices you want on here at this point, you can throw them on. I'm going to leave these as is, but if you want to create kind of a smoked rib flavor, you could hit that with some smoked paprika. That would be really good. Or you could put some liquid smoke into the spray that I'm going to use to spritz these with as they cook. Now they're ready for the oven. It's preheated to 275 degrees, and this size of ribs should take somewhere between 4 and 5 hours to cook. I don't really like wrapping these oven roasted ribs in foil. I think it makes them a little too steamy and soggy, but I don't want them to dry out either, so about every hour I like to take them out and mist them with some kind of a solution. It could be just water or juice or vinegar, but I like a 50-50 mix of apple cider vinegar and apple juice concentrate. So I'll just mix up a 1/4 cup each of those. It's not going to take that much actually. I want to adjust that to a nice, there we go, nice fine mist. Oh yeah. Now everything's sticky, and I'm surrounded by fruit flies. There we are, hour 1. Just give that a little spritz, and right back into the oven. Hour 2, we're starting to get a little bit of color. Another little spritz, and back into the oven. It's starting to pull back from the bones just a little bit here. Still pretty firm. That's 3 hours and back into the oven. Now we're at about 3.5 hours in, and these are starting to get real tender. So probably about 30 minutes to go. And so now I like to just keep them like this and put the sauce on the side, but if you like them all sticky and ooey gooey, now's when you want to start saucing them. So just get your favorite sauce and brush it on there nice and evenly. Just get a good coating on there, not too thick, because we're going to apply another coating. We'll put this on there, pop it back into the oven for about 15 minutes. Then we'll bring it out and hit it again, pop it in the oven for another 15, and then we should be just about ready. Alright, one more nice coat of sauce, and 15 more minutes, and we should be good to go. Oh yeah, those look great. check a little, make sure we're just as tender as I want to be. Feels just about right. That sinks in very easy down here. There's a little bit of resistance up here, which I think is gonna be perfect. So, now I do need to let these rest for a good 20 minutes before I try cutting into these. Let's see how we did. See, I'm gonna cut a nice one out of the middle to get a good representation. Oh man, they smell great. There's just a little bit of a bark on there. Oh yeah. I can tell you it's super tender, but not so tender that it's just flopping off of the bone there. I do want to have to tug at it just a little bit to get it to come off the bone. Well, let's give that a try. Oh yeah. Ooh. There's more of that. Oh man. Oh, if it weren't for the lack of smoke, I'd call that perfect barbecue. And like I said, you could get some smoke flavor in there by putting a little liquid smoke into the spritz, or that smoked paprika, or even into the sauce, but this is absolutely delicious. Nobody's gonna complain about this, I guarantee. Well, I really hope you try this, and I know you're gonna love it. And if you do, please like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.